afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. If you're wondering, and I know that you're wondering, why in the world I'm doing my talk shows while I'm driving, it's because I drive about 45 minutes to work and 45 minutes home. So my drive time, the way I look at it, is my drive time has taken up my podcasting time. So to continue pursuing my dream, this is what I have to do. And I told you guys that eventually I will reveal, once we gain enough traction, I will reveal the goals of this podcast, and I will reveal the goals of the new political party we are going to call the Eternity Group. Now, I'm open to suggestions, and I'm open to, maybe changing some of these visions and dreams and such. But for right now, we're going to start a group called Eternity. And we are going to make a third or fourth political party in America, so we don't have to vote Republican every year, and we don't have to vote Democrat. Even though there's 20 shades of Democrats and 5 shades of Republicans. And when I say that, it's kind of like an oxymoron, because Democrats are typically like within this kind of hive mind where they all tend to think and do the same thing for some reason. And you can see that by their successful votes in the Supreme Court and their successful votes in Congress. They kind of just, for the most part, typically just vote together. And it's effective. But anyhow, a little bit about the goals, just a snippet. But we are going back to our domestic, our foreign affairs. Today, we're going to go over different examples to help you identify sheep, identify victims, and sheepish victims. Now, like I said, I don't have a lot of time for preparation for these podcasts, so everything I'm saying is off the top of my head. So if I'm a little bit off about my statistic, if my words are not the prettiest, well, I'm literally just talking as I go. So give me a break. Give me a break, all right? A little bit of mercy, a little bit of grace would be appreciated. Okay, how do we identify sheep's victim and sheepish victims? There is a man. The man's name is Arnold. The man is sitting on his porch. The man is surrounded on his left by a neighbor whom is Mexican. On his right, a neighbor who is white. Now, I'm not going to tell you the race of the person in the middle. What was I calling him? Shoot. I just need to stick with Derek. It's going to be Derek. Derek is in the middle, Mexican to his left, white to his right. Derek sits on his porch. Derek hasn't witnessed his Mexican neighbor nor his white neighbor do anything. In this case scenario, what do you think Derek is? Derek is just a man that exists. Nothing has happened. You don't know any more about Derek. So where would you put Derek? Where do you think that the default position is? And I haven't even thought about this. So we're going to have to amend this later. But my gut instinct wants to say that we're going to say that Derek is a sheep. The sheep is the default, because nothing has happened to show that Derek is a shepherd. And because it's safe to assume that the majority of people that you come across are sheep, it is within good reason to think that Derek is a sheep. This time, Derek is a Democrat, and Derek votes Democrat every single year. Derek also doesn't like heavy fines and unusual punishment towards rapists. Now, the white man across from Derek is a 40-year-old man. Derek does have a daughter whom is 12 years old. Derek's daughter, who is 12 years old, gets raped by the white neighbor. Derek is angry, he's upset, but he does nothing. He wants the justice system to take care of what's happened. What is Derek? What is he? Okay? Derek, in this scenario, is a sheepish victim. Why is Derek a sheepish victim? Derek is a sheep because he votes Democrat. Derek is a sheep because he does not promote cruel and unusual punishment to violators such as rapists and murderers. He doesn't think that's right. Derek is someone who would oppose the death penalty. And Derek, being a Democrat voter, is likely someone who put himself in a position where he could not defend his family with a firearm. Now, to be fair to Derek, his daughter did not get raped at his residence. So, it might have not been preventable from his standpoint. So, what is Derek? Derek is a sheepish victim. Why isn't Derek just a sheep, though? Why is Derek also a victim? Derek is also a victim because the circumstances that he's in are just not so easy to change. He's voted himself into a situation to where he can't really carry out justice, and if he does, he might get punished for it. He's also in a situation where he's voted degeneracy within a society, and he's emboldened criminals like rapists to do the things that they did to his daughter. Now, I know it's a little bit crazy. I know you might be struggling with this one. Sorry if I've triggered you. I should have had a trigger warning for this one. So that's why Derek is a sheepish victim. Now, a man named Tucker Carlson, just like the man that you might watch on podcasts, is a man who believes that Israel is at the crux of all the problems that we as Americans experience. It's the reasons our foods are killing us. It's the reasons that Hollywood has so much LGBTQ stuff and so much sexuality. It's the reason that the porn industry is so successful. And Tucker Carlson also believes that one of our most active allies in the Middle East, well, should be shunned, or we should abandon them and allow them to succumb to the oppression of one of the enemies who would turn around and stab us in the back if we were to get into World War III. Tucker Carlson is now threatening to vote Democrat. What is Tucker Carlson? Okay. Tucker Carlson is a predator. Still following? Tucker Carlson is not a victim. Nothing's happened to him that's out of his circumstance. Tucker Carlson has a lot of influence. So even if something did happen, Tucker Carlson has more obligation or burden of obligation within the society to take responsibility for what happens within the society. Tucker Carlson is a predator because Tucker Carlson knows better. So Tucker Carlson can do better, and he doesn't. Tucker Carlson is a predator because he understands the implications of his ideas. And he is fully aware of the consequences of the beliefs that he is pushing. If America was to get into World War III, in 2 years. We struggled because we exiled our ally Israel, and then our enemy teamed up with the other first two world powers. Who would you blame? Someone has to take some responsibility for this. Who would be responsible for the lives lost and the more difficult victories that would come to us as Americans? Instead of losing 2 million within a war, maybe we'd lose 20 million within a world conflict. The people who are telling you that it does not matter what happens outside of the United States, and that we don't have to curb the aggression of our potential enemies, and that we have to ensure that our potential enemies do not expand, are the people who will be responsible for the loss of 10 or 15 million Americans within a world conflict. You have to understand that it does not hurt predators when they lose people, because predators know better. There is a natural order to how the world works. We understand that there are sheep, there are lion, there are deer, there are bear, there are snakes, there are rats. We understand. We can observe nature to have a fundamental understanding about how we need to interact with each other as humans. Humans are even more dangerous, however, than what we see in nature. We have to be that much more mindful about the way that we interact with each other and the values and ideas that we push forward in society. We have to be that much more careful because we have invented things like firearms and rockets and nuclear bombs. So we have to be that much more mindful and careful about the way that we progress society. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your values, they matter. So the people who own these platforms that are telling you that you can just stay within this little bubble and ignore what's happening outside of you, and those outside things will never be a problem within your safe bubble, are weak, and they are setting you up for failure. And if it's not you, it's your children. Responsible human beings understand that war, suffering, and pain are inevitable. Those things will happen. So we have to take certain precautionary measures to ensure that those things don't happen. That's also why America is a shepherd. America is a shepherd because not only does America think about what's happening outside of their bubble, and they plan for how to protect inside of their bubble by affecting what happens outside of their bubble, America also supports those outside of their bubble to ensure that other democratic nations are safe and secure within their bubbles. Every nation has a responsibility to take care of its own domestic affairs. Every country is responsible for the lives of its own citizens. There's nothing wrong with needing help. There's nothing wrong with needing financial support. There's nothing wrong with those things. Calling upon your allies for support is what they are for. But when you have countries who refuse to participate outside of their little bubble, what they are showing is a sign of weakness. They have forgotten that reality at the basic level is is kill or die. Eat or starve. That is the most basic, fundamental thing as human beings that we understand. Attack first or be attacked. Prepare defenses or don't. I don't know. I didn't have a good one for that one. But you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? At the fundamental level, the most basic thing as human beings that we have to do is take preventative measures to ensure the survival of our society and the people that we love. At the most basic and fundamental level, that is the least amount that we have to do. Let's go back to the sheeps and the victims. Derek lives in the center. To Derek's left is a black man. And to Derek's right is a Chinese man. And when I say man, I mean family. The Chinese man has a family of 5. The black man has a family of 7. Now, Derek does not live in an HOA community. He lives in just any regular old community. Derek, in the last recent few months, has had an increase in violent crimes by black individuals. Black individuals make up a majority of this neighborhood. But Derek is a progressive liberal, and Derek believes that, you know, if you begin to formulate this idea in your head that you should take preventative measures because of what's been happening within certain black individuals, you know what I'm saying? You should take certain preventative measures because what certain black individuals have been doing, that would be racist. And so therefore, Derek takes no preventative measures because he thinks that would be racist, I don't know, bigoted or something. And that's just not something that Derek is going to do because of his beliefs and his ideologies. In this first scenario with Derek, Derek's kid is coming off the bus from school. The black man's 2 sons jumps Derek's son. Derek's son has done nothing wrong. He's just an ordinary kid. He hasn't said the N-word. He's just living, going to school, trying to get decent grades. The black man's sons have a history of violence, of fighting, and bullying. The black man's sons beats up Derek's kids. Derek gets angry, and now Derek says, well, is it racist? Derek starts to develop different thoughts. He starts to think, well, is it racist for me to be mad? Is it racist for me to want to beat the shit out of this black guy and his freaking dumbass sons? Is it racist? He starts double thinking here. Either way, he's going to confront the black man and his son, despite being a Democrat, because now he has to. Anyhow, just a fun story. What is Derek in this situation? What do you think Derek is? In this situation, Derek is purely just a sheep. Why isn't Derek a victim? Something's happened to Derek. Derek has information at his fingertips, sure, but how could he have prevented his sons from being beat up? What preventative measures could Derek have taken that would have really changed this situation? Okay, I lied. Derek is a sheepish victim because in this situation, there is no preventative measures that Derek could have taken. Derek is a moron. His ideologies are stupid. And he should have sat down his son and he should have said, it is not racist, son, to have a little bit of natural fear when you're around our black neighbor and his family. If they come around you, you should have a little bit of natural fear and you should be ready to jump on the defense. Scenario number 2. The difference now is that Derek is aware that the black man's sons are violent. Derek tells his son nothing about it. What is Derek now? Derek is still a sheepish victim, an absolute moron who has increased his son's likelihood of being in this situation because of his stupid ideologies. His ideologies aren't based in reality, so when reality hits, well, you're accountable for that. Okay. Now, in this situation, Derek is aware that the man next to him, the black man with a family of 6, is a pedophile. This man has a history of making very poor mistakes. On his left, the Asian man has been rumored to participate in some kind of Asian mafia. Sorry, on the right. He is known to be a dangerous man who you should not involve yourself with. Now, Derek is a progressive, right? So he's okay with being racist towards the Asian. So he just stays away from him. So there's no problem. Holy smokes. Look at that. Now the black man, on the other hand, remember, Derek can't think logically. His ideologies prevent him from being based in reality. So he wants to think that this black man is innocent, this black man is just trying to do better for himself, and that, he can't be that racist guy who tells his family that they need to be careful, or that says, I need to move. I shouldn't be living next to this guy. No. He can't be that guy. Derek's daughter, wait, hold on here. Derek's daughter becomes friends with the black man. With the black man's kids. Derek and his wife, have disagreements. They don't want to let their daughter go over. But finally, after a year, they've given in because of their ideology. And they have a problem with thinking that they are racist because they're taking certain preventative measures based off of statistics and the man's criminal history. They don't want to look racist taking certain preventative measures. They allow their daughter to go over. Everything's fine for the first 3 months. Nothing's ever happened. They haven't heard anything. On the 6th month, Derek's daughter starts complaining about pain in her private area. It turns out that she had been molested by a family member in the black man's family. What is Derek? Derek is a pure sheep. He is a pure sheep. Derek is a pure sheep because he had everything in his arsenal to prevent this. His daughter did not need to go over. He could have taken preventative measures. He could have based his ideologies in reality, but instead he didn't. So Derek is a sheep. All right, I think you've had pretty good examples. I can do some more if you want, but those are just some good ways to start. I think we've had a super constructive conversation here. I'm trying to think. I think we've covered everything that we should have. We'll call that it for today. Thank you so much for coming. I really hope that you think and that you ponder about these things, because you do have to take preventative measures based off of the information that you have. Taking preventative measures is not just taking preventive measures within your home, it's also taking preventative measures outside of your home. What are preventative measures outside of your home? Those preventative measures are the way you vote, the ideas that you push forward, the teachers that we allow in public schools, and so forth. Thank you so much. Have a good one.